Morning all, tcDetects back out again on the field over there that you can see behind me. Just there. There's another one past behind the hay bales. I'm going to hit those two today. They both look like they've been relatively freshly ploughed, so that could be interesting walking and detecting on it. Depends how deep the ploughing has been. It'll settle between now and the spring when they will be planted, but they'll be available until then. This is part of my new large permission. Large because it's 6,500 acres, so large doesn't really cover it. New fields, not been on these before. I feel like that's something I'm going to be saying a lot on coming videos on this particular permission. Chose the field because that way, about a field over, was a manor house being demolished. Looks like it demolished about 70 years ago, something like that. Don't think the manor house was very, very old, maybe 200 years when it was built. But given the proximity to this field in particular, figured we'd give it a whirl. Always useful to have some clue and some rationale for where you're digging. So, out with the Atrex this morning and with the version 2 software on it. For those who've not downloaded that yet, I suggest you do. Some definite improvements within the new software. May, depending on how it's going, depending on what the weather does, may get out with the Spectra V3i for an hour as well, because I've got that in the car and I'm still getting to grips with the world's most complicated or flexible machine, depending on how you look at it. Right, let's go and find what we can find. And it definitely looks deeply ploughed. This little bit here looks deeper than the bit down the bottom, so we're going to head that way, maybe try the top as well. And the wind is getting up. I can definitely feel some moisture in the air, so maybe a short hunt. Fingers crossed it picks up and improves. And not dug a hole yet, and we've had a bucket lister, so this was a surface find. Never found one before, despite a fair few years of metal detecting. And what we have is the bowl of an old clay pipe. As you can see from the top, it's a relatively small bowl, which, if I remember my history, means it came from a period when tobacco tax and tobacco prices was expensive, so they had smaller bowled pipes, so they didn't use as much tobacco when they were smoking. So there you go, a nice first find, clay pipe bowl. And a few feet further on the line I'm on, and we get what looks like part of the stem of their clay pipe. And the first metallic object of the day is this moon-shaped piece of lead. It rang up a really high signal, 109, 110, really straight line. It's about 4 inches down. Through the mud, looks like there might be some lines on it, so I'll clean it up later, see if those lines are anything other than it being scratched at some point. There you go, first thing, piece of lead. And next up is just down here. $82 to $85, bit of a scratch strip, but only a bit. Give it a whirl, see what it is. And that mid-80s decent signal was a little pistol ball. First metallic find of the day of any note. Obviously I've already had the clay pipe bowl and stem. There you go, musket ball. You can just see the wall there for what would have been part of the hall manor that was there in the past. You can see how close I am. I'm literally a field away, so we'll concentrate where we are and see what we find. And next up, on a very good 71, 72, it's about 3 inches down. Think part of a buckle, but the end of it, top end of it, you can see, that looks to be a bit that could have rotated, so maybe it's not a traditional buckle in that sense, maybe it's something else. But anyway, it looks to have some age to it. I'd probably guess it as Victorian maybe. But yeah, given we're close to a manor house, that's probably a similar age. Makes sense. Nice little artifact. about 5 feet away from the buckle. High end, moving a little bit. See what we get. And unfortunately, just a piece of aluminium wire or something like that. And just been through a quiet bit of the field. Next signal after the quiet 10-15 minutes. Obviously no age to it, but maybe this is off a tractor or something, I don't know. Is it a label? Is it 60? Or is it 09? And what is it? Any clues from anybody? Put in the comments. Yeah, cool. And next find, it was fully about to declare as the first button of the day. However, no evidence at all of a shank on it, either side. And it's unusually sort of a little uneven in terms of shape, maybe a little teardrop in shape. Roman grot perhaps instead. No Roman in the area that I'm aware of, but you never know with these things, do you? Anyway, there you go. An unidentifiable good signal piece of something. Metallic, obviously. And next up, afternoon sessions, had some lunch. Is a ring thing. I thought it was going to be a ring until I got it out. I think it's just a general farming implement sort of ring thing rather than a wear it ring thing. Although not too far off for the right size, but I don't think so. Next up is down here. I just flipped a piece of the clod over and I can see it, so I thought we'd share. It's about 8081, decent signal. About less than a half an inch down, I would have said. I literally haven't really dug, just flipped it over. See it there? Looks like the corner of, or the side of, can't have a corner on a circle, can you? Yeah. Yeah, it's the side, by the look of it. Yep, of a thimble. Not silver like the last thimble I had, but thimble nonetheless. I think there's a lot of age to it. But yeah, nice. Another artifact for the thimble.